The meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. Now, what this means is that the meaning of life is to be generous. It means to be helpful to others. It means to serve other people and be of service to the world. This means to provide value and effectively contribute to the well-being of this world and of this life, right? Now, if we approach it from a literal sense, if we think about the process of planting trees, typically you're not planting the fully grown mature version of the tree, right? You're either planting a seed or a very miniature version of the tree. Let's just say the tree is a foot tall, right? Of course, when you plant the early stages of a tree, it is going to be small, right? You won't be able to reap the benefits of it in that moment or probably anytime soon. Because when you think about most trees, right? For most trees, it might take several months to maybe several years to maybe even a few decades for it to grow from where it's at to becoming a fully grown tree. But nonetheless, the process will take time. So if we analyze the quote again, the true meaning of life is to plant trees under whose shade you do not expect to sit. This is effectively you being of service without expecting anything in return. Because if the tree will one day mature, sprout and mature, and provide shade, right? If you're not expecting to sit under the shade or be under the shade, then you are doing work and providing value without receiving or expecting anything in return. That is effectively you being a giver and giving to other people, right? If I were to plant trees, and let's just say it would take several years or maybe even several decades for it to grow, then what I am effectively doing is I am setting the foundation for other people, right? Because chances are I may not return back to that tree, but at some point the tree will grow, and at some point someone will make their way there, and that person will be able to benefit from my work. And the amazing part about it is that this quote goes both ways, right? The same way how we can set the foundation so that other people after us can benefit from the work and the labor that we've done from what we've given. We have also been the beneficiary. There are many instances in our lives where we have been the beneficiary of the foundation that other people have set, right? And we've benefited from that. And I'll use myself an example to help crystallize this idea, right? When I went away for college, right, I was able to graduate and, get my bachelor's from one of the top colleges in the world, right? Now, I was only able to do that because I received a full scholarship. I received a full ride to university. And that happened because I was a student part of an opportunity program. And this opportunity program was meant to assist students who came from underrepresented and underprivileged backgrounds, right? Effectively, people who were lower income and came from humble beginnings, if you will, right? And, for most people who attended a 4-year university at the time, right, going to a top school for 4 years, that's $250,000 that you're spending for your education, for your time there. And I didn't have that money available for me, right? But that program was supported by wealthy donors and other people who were passionate and saw and understood the importance of education. And so because of that, they would help fund the program, and that program would help pay for the expenses for students to attend these, top colleges in the world. And I'm blessed that I was one of those students who were able to benefit from that, right? So I was able to get, one of the best educations in the world because other people planted trees for me, right? That I was able to walk in and effectively sit under shade, right? Knowing that my finances will be taken care of while I'm getting an education because other people planted the tree. Other people decided that it's important for people to get a quality education regardless of their financial situation, right? If someone is smart and wants to pursue and want to get a higher education, that they should be allowed to do so. And that was effectively their mission statement, and they were able to provide for me financially in order for me to get the education. So this is what I'm referring to, right? There were other people who decided to be generous because they didn't have to donate their money. They didn't have to create the program. They didn't have to do any of that, right? But they were passionate about helping students get an education so that it can improve the quality of their lives and they can, potentially change the future or change the trajectory of their family or generations. And right, like having someone that's more educated will help improve the quality of this world, right? So that is what motivated them to create the program, and I was the beneficiary of that, right? I was sitting under, receiving shade from the tree that they planted. And so there's so many instances in our lives where we were the ones that were able to benefit from the hard work, from the opportunities, from the things that other people have set up that came before us. And that becomes a true meaning of life, of effectively paving the way forward for other people. It's almost like they were able to roll out the red carpet for me, right? They were successful. The donors, the creators of the program, they were successful. They were financially successful. They were doing very well in their lives, right? And they effectively rolled out the red carpet for me, and they said, you know what, like, we want to give you an opportunity. And so I was able to walk through the red carpet because of that. And the point of this is to make sure that you don't forget to also play your part, that for you not to forget that there's going to be other people that come after you that you can also serve as well. So just as the red carpet was rolled out for me, is for me to turn around and also remember that I shouldn't be the last person to walk through the red carpet, and for me to be able to extend my arm to help the person that comes after me, right? This is the meaning of life, to be able to serve other people, to be a giver, right? And the people who help pay for and assist, for underprivileged students to get a higher education, they're not expecting anything in return. They're not expecting you to one day pay them back, right? It's just they understand how much of a life-changing opportunity this could be to help other people, and that's why they do it out of the kindness and goodness of their heart. So use this quote as a metaphor for your life, right? If you plant a tree, it might take several decades for that tree to sprout and eventually mature. And even if you don't get to be the one to see that tree mature, or if you don't get to be the one to lay under the tree and benefit from the shade that it provides from the sun, right? Someone else just might, or potentially someone else will, right? And that's what matters, right? You think about it yourself, right? There's been instances where you would go to a park or you would go to a natural space and you will find that the trees there they already exist, right? Chances are someone planted that tree, right? Like if you go to a nice neighborhood, right, and you see all the amazing trees and everything's beautiful, you go to a college campus, right? It's the same idea, right? There were other people who decided to plant that tree or plant that seed, right? Because they anticipate that it will eventually grow into a tree. And then when it does grow into a tree, it will make the environment look so much better. It would add to the beauty of life and to the world. And so you need to see life that same way. You need to be a giver. You need to be serving other people. You need to be providing value to help people improve and grow, because then you are contributing to the overall well-being of this world. You are helping to raise the internal value of not only yourself, but of all other people. And that is what's going to make a difference in this life. And you are going to be so much happier in doing so, because all the research and the studies show that people are happier when they give than when they are spending money or spending things on themselves, right? We find more joy and fulfillment by helping somebody else, because we know that we've also made a difference in somebody else's life, right? When we give and when we help other people, that's two people being happy, because it's not only them because you're helping them, but yourself because you're doing this from the kindness of your heart and it fills you up with gratitude. So two people are benefiting. But when you're just focused on yourself, spending money on yourself, splurging on yourself, right, you're the only one that walks away feeling happy, right? So it's this is the true meaning of life. And if everyone operated with the same mentality of being generous, of being of service to other people, just imagine how much more amazing this world would be, right? It would be, of course, a life worth living, and it would be a world that is so much fun. And that's why we're here. We're all here to be happy. We're all here to enjoy this life and this existence, and it comes with being helpful and providing value to one another. So you want to operate and live your life by being of service to other people. And it was a lesson that I eventually had to learn until I began internalizing it and living it and showing it to you guys each and every day, right? When I'm doing these videos, I want you to operate, to think the same way, operate the same way, right? So then you can live a life that is truly fulfilling. So that wraps up the video. Enjoy the video, leave a like and subscribe as we're on the road. So many subscribers, guys. So once again, it's Joel, and I'm out. I'll see you guys for the next video.